Okay, now let's look at week 1. And here we are. Angel, syllabus. Angel should be self-explanatory. If you watch the syllabus overview, you'll get an idea of how to navigate. I do embed little videos in here that you can watch, usually to warm up, just to kind of get you going. Watch the video for persuasive writing in a nutshell. Read about critical thinking, because this is really where the basis of the research paper is going to stem from. Rationality, not emotion. So when you're thinking about writing the research paper, you want to write it from a logical perspective, a rational perspective, and not an emotional one. Especially when you're covering a controversial topic, it can be so easy to slip into an emotional argument. Then we're going to get into ethos, pathos, and logos. Here's the foundation for the research paper. So please make sure you understand these, you read about them. You can see an example here at the bottom of each one. So all three of these are pretty critical for the paper, but again, you want it to be based on logic. This video demonstrates ethos, logos, and pathos. Now what you might find here, it's kind of a silly video, but I found it to be funny. I hope you find it to be funny as well. She tries to demonstrate all three of them. She does kind of get them mixed up a little bit. So keep your eyes open and your ears open to see where she kind of crosses ethos with pathos. I'll give you a quick example here.
You should eat your spinach because Dr. Oz says spinach makes little girls grow up to be pretty smart.
See, Dr. Oz, okay, he's credible when it comes to nutrition, at least somewhat credible.
Also, you love Barney, right? And Barney loves spinach.
Barney would not be a credible source on nutrition. So keep in mind that she does kind of mix them up a little bit as you're watching it. Then you want to get into the research paper guidelines, which is also a separate video. When you get down to the first half here, you'll see the assignments in the boxes, reading and writing. Your first assignment is to complete ethos, logos, pathos, doc. Once you open it, please click enable editing, and then all you have to do is read the directions carefully. You can just put the letter in the blanks all the way down, save it, and then put it into the Dropbox in Angel. This is worth 1%. The second half of week 1 starts with Blogger for Beginners. It's a great video on how to sign up for and create a blog in Blogger specifically. So watch it as many times as need be, or you can just start and reference it if you get stuck. The second half of the week will focus on understanding the rules of persuasion. Rule number 2 deals with research. This is kind of a sample of where I started with enriched advertising. So this stimulated my thought process. What does it mean to have white enriched bread? And is there a controversy? Well, there is a huge controversy with that. Not a lot of people talk about it because we assume white bread is white bread. But if you knew what white bread was, you may not ever eat it again. From here, I looked up the word enriched to try to figure out what that might mean, and I was guessing definition number 5 to make finer in quality, kind of like enriched soil. Okay, maybe that's what it is, but what I learned after watching Doctor's View, which if you watch the whole video, you'll be shocked, he calls it killer flour. So any enriched flour, white or wheat, he calls killer flour, and this is Andrew L. Siegel, MD, which means he does have some credibility on the topic. So from here, I really found myself with a topic that A, I was passionate about because I like to feel good after I eat, and B, there's both sides, because some people will say that eating this enriched flour is actually okay for you, and then others will say no, it is poison. So once I knew I had a controversial topic and one that I was passionate about, this then became the basis for my research. You should consider Rule 2 the same way, that in order to sometimes figure out a topic, you may have to start researching things that you're passionate about or things that you care about in your life in order to kind of work your way into a topic. Sometimes just thinking about it in your head doesn't always work. Formulating a strong thesis. All of these thesis statements are pretty good and they could work. Now, some are more specific than others, and some, like number 2, argue what I would call against the grain. Arguing against the grain means you're going against what the majority of people would believe. Now, if you're going to lower requirements for athletes, well, who's really going to agree with that? Athletes? Yes. The rest of the student body? No. So now you have a topic where you're arguing against the majority, and those can be extremely rewarding. Rule number 4, countering the opposition. Very, very important. Here's one on microwaves. Here is the opposition. I'm highlighting it for you. So if this was a point in your paper, you would let the opponent speak first. There's the opponent in yellow. Please read it. Then you would go in and argue against the yellow with what I'm highlighting right now. The balance is pretty much about the same. The opponent will get 5 to 7 sentences, and then you will get the rest. Lastly, the outline. Download, please, right here. Very simple. You're looking for 2 strong points. That's it. And that should be plenty enough if they're detailed and thorough to fill the 1,000 to 1,200 words.